Well, Rob, that was a crazy week 2, even crazier than week 1. I got my ass stumped big time.
Yeah,
I
I got my stomped as well.
yeah, it's okay when we both get stomped together, I guess. Even though mine was a little worse. Our season records are you're 16 and 15 and I'm 14 and 17. That's fucking terrible. That's garbage right there.
Yeah, the only good news out of it is the only way to go is up,
Well, I
or
mean, we
or
could
just
we could do worse. It could be
yeah,
an even worse week in week 3.
we could keep doing shit, but hopefully not.
Hopefully it evens out and we turned the corner on this slate of decent games this week. Um,
Yeah,
let's get
week
into
three,
Thursday night. Yeah, let's get into Thursday night, week 3. Steelers at Browns. I'll let you take this one. What do you think?
man, you've got you know not what either team wants at quarterback really at the helm. I mean, nobody wants Trubisky in Pittsburgh, but they got him and they support him, and he's done average. I mean, he's had some good balls and he's had his Trubisky moments, but he kind of held it. And that Pittsburgh has been a little bit subpar. The Browns are still sitting around waiting for Watson.
They're
They
gonna be
got your
waiting for
boy,
a while.
yeah, they got your boy Brisket in there, but they also have Chubb.
Yeah,
So
Chubb's a
I
monster.
do. I got to say this could be a pretty even split in the field. I'm going to go Browns. I'm gonna throw it up and go Browns.
Yeah, I think they
Um,
have the advantage at home. So,
yeah,
but I feel like that's only because they're at home, and I'm pretty sure they're only favored by 3, maybe 4. I wouldn't say it's more than that. But I mean, yeah, I have vested interest in this game because the Texans own the Browns picks. So the worse they do, the better for the Texans. And so I know I want the Steelers to win. I just don't know if they can do it. I mean, like you said, Trubisky. I mean, I guess you were giving him a little more credit than I'm willing to. I would say Trubisky's even been below average. Um, the offense hasn't done much. I mean, but did they really do a lot with Cheeseburger last year?
no,
Maybe it was a little bit better passing wise, but Trubisky
but
clearly is not the guy, and it's only a matter of time before Pickett comes out. They were even chanting his name in week 2.
of course
So, I
he's a
mean,
hometown boy.
I think this is the perfect time. Well, maybe it's not the perfect time, but if they're going to be struggling again against the Browns, who by no means are they a bad team. They have a great defense. They can run the ball. What can they do in the passing game? Not a lot. But I kind of feel like the Steelers are kind of the same thing. They just don't have that dominant run game like the Browns do. So if Pittsburgh can somehow just stop the run, like you said, my homeboy Brisket can't really do anything. I mean, he's just going to check it down. Maybe he'll take some shots, but the Steelers, they're an opportunistic defense regardless of how good a team they are. They're always good.
Mika Fitzpatrick is a ball hawk.
Oh yeah.
His name,
So
his name is always said multiple times every game.
and he can you know he can bait a guy like Brisket. Brisket started I don't know how many games, too many, but he's not that good of a quarterback. And it's not like they have
Well,
crazy weapons in Cleveland either. I mean, Cooper's great. I guess Peoples Jones is okay, even though he's never really broken out yet. And Joku, kind of the same thing. Good tight end, he's just never really broken out. Like they have a bunch of okay guys, but I feel like Brissett. I just always want to call him Brisket. I guess it's because I want some brisket.
it
But
had
I don't know. I just feel like Brissett limits what they can do, and if they're not running the ball, and if somehow Pittsburgh can get it done, I'm going Pittsburgh. I
all right.
I feel like there's just too many upsets early in the season, and I'm pretty sure the Browns are favored. So I think this is a good upset right here. I'm going
All right.
Pittsburgh, and you're going Brown. Well, we're gonna live stream this. Should this be our head-to-head matchup
Yes, I guess it has to be.
where we don't tinker,
This is it.
we just let it go? Okay, so Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Um,
No touch screen beyond this point.
Plus I have Najee Harris in the dynasty league, so
Might
I
as well root.
might as well root for him, right? You know, although he'll probably only end up with like 10 points. All right. The next game, New Orleans at Carolina, Saints at Panthers. I mean, Jameis didn't do very well against Tampa, but that's Tampa. They're one of the best defenses. Carolina, I feel like always, I don't know. Everybody always expects them to be good or to at least compete, but I feel like Baker makes them worse than with Darnold. It's
I
weird.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, it so far it's not been a good transition to.
How long has he been there? When did he get traded? Do you remember? It
I
hasn't been
feel
long.
maybe training camp,
Oh, okay.
maybe.
Yeah,
I
I,
want
I
to
can't
say
remember. I feel like it hasn't been enough time. I just feel
well,
like he just doesn't look comfortable, and he doesn't throw it to McCaffrey, like your best weapon, and he like refuses to check it down to him. I just don't understand that. That's bizarre to me. But Carolina is not the defense that Tampa Bay is. So I think I'm going Saints here.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm grabbing on the Saints too. The Panthers have let me down already.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the Saints defense will
But you
make
know
it
what
real,
happens
real hard.
is when you pivot. Oh, I'm 0-2 with picking this team, and then you pivot away, and then they get the win, and then they fuck you again.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. That's what they're destined to do. They're destined to fuck you.
And thus begins the stumping of week 3. But okay, well we're both in agreement there, Saints. The next one, Houston at Chicago. What do you think?
I mean, dude, I would love you guys to go in there and fucking wreck shop.
To give them a loss
I
so they can drop down. Yeah,
I just don't know if it's gonna happen.
yeah.
Like, I think this is gonna be a real like under. I think it's gonna be a great game because of its Coach Lovey coming back to Chicago. You know, with a brand new team, with a brand new vibe.
Yeah.
And I think you guys have some swagger, and I think you're going to go in there swinging. Probably going to run the
Defensively,
ball.
defensively they'll go in swinging. That I think Lovey has proven this defense is good. I mean, they held Indianapolis to 20 points. They held Denver to what? What was it?
16.
16. And Chicago isn't a very good offense. I agree with you. I think I mean I picked the Texans every single game, and they honestly could be 2-0 right now. But I think this is the one that they could win. Chicago isn't scary, and I said last week, if Fields doesn't do anything, then they won't do anything on offense. It's like they will go as far as Fields will take them. And I don't know, the way the Texans defense has been playing, they're very stingy, and they're hard to move the ball on. They're hard to score on too. I mean, they're scrappy. And they're
And
starting a bunch of rookies, man. That's the crazy thing is these guys are young, and
the
they don't
Bears
know any better.
the Bears have a hard time once they're there too.
Well,
Like,
the Bears are
you know,
starting their own rookies too. So
yeah.
I think this is gonna be a good game. But you know what? I'm going with Houston. I just you know I think this is the one that they should win. Like yeah, they probably shouldn't have beat Denver. They shouldn't have beat Indianapolis, but they were in positions to do it. That's the thing that gets me is like damn, like they're so young and they're so new that they don't know how to win yet. But I feel like the Bears, this like they're not on the same caliber as Indianapolis and Denver. So this is a very winnable game for Houston, and I feel like Chicago is favored only because they're at home. I'm going Houston. And plus,
You
like you
know,
said, the loss for the Bears will help the Packers in your division. Not that you're scared of the Bears, but anytime they'll get a loss is good for you, right? It helps you in the
oh,
standings.
absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I'll go Texans too. I think you guys can.
I mean, if we
I think
can't
you
beat
guys.
the Bears, like, I mean, when will you pick them? You know what I mean? Like, if they can't beat the Bears, what team? Like against the Jaguars? Even then, the Jaguars look pretty good. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it's like, what game would they be favored? Like, this has to be the one that they win.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going the potential upset there, and I'll make that my lock of the week upset.
Oh, busting out the lock of the week with Houston. You're gonna snatch it away from me. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, yeah. I think they can do it. But all right. Kansas City Chiefs at Indianapolis Colts. You know,
Oh,
it's kind of silly to go go against Mahomes, and Indianapolis is 0-1-1. Even
yeah,
even
I'm
though
pick.
when I took the picture of this of these, the little thing that I have here, it doesn't have the updated standings, but they're 0-1-1. And going against Mahomes is silly. It really is. And I mean, even if unless it's like Bills Chiefs, then it's like, okay, I could see you picking Buffalo, and I wouldn't have any complaints about that.
Yeah, but that's not this.
Yeah, that's not this. This is the Colts, and they've been very disappointing. And they thought, oh well, we'll bring in Matt Ryan. He's an instant, upgrade over Carson Wentz. And it's like, is he?
No, no,
They also haven't
no.
had Leonard these two games. That makes a difference on defense. But
It
I don't know
absolutely
if
does.
Leonard's gonna be in. But
No, I until proven otherwise, I'm picking Chiefs here.
yeah,
That's an easy one.
exactly. Chiefs. Until Mahomes proves like, okay, now we have to question him. Until he does that, yeah, this is Chiefs.
Dude,
Um,
he might throw 4 touchdowns this game.
oh yeah, I'm hoping he
Well,
does. I have him in Dynasty. um, but yeah, okay, so we're both in agreement there. The next one is Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. What do you think?
this is a better game than what's being advertised, and I
Yeah.
think the Dolphins are sneaky good, sneaky good. I think Tua is kind of trying to put himself out there and prove something, but that Bills defense is nasty right now. I
Yeah.
man, I they were saying, "Oh, the weather, it's the worst time to go to Miami this time." Okay, that's fair, but it's not like Buffalo's been cold yet. Like they're not frozen, thawing to go down there. It's like it's kind of a silly argument to me that because both sidelines have oxygen, Gatorade, water, cooling fans. Like yeah, I get it. Like once you're out there and playing, it can be stifling, but the players recover a lot better than once upon a time. So, dude, I think Buffalo continues to roll. I think Miami makes it a good game, but I think Buffalo is my pick for sure.
Yeah, I mean they're both 2-0, and if you look at what Tua did in the first three quarters, he didn't do anything. Like I kind of feel like teams do this a lot. Is they have a lead, then they just play prevent. But the thing that the Dolphins have that probably no other team in history has had is like two legitimate speedsters at wide receiver, like two of the fastest wide receivers ever. And so no lead is safe with those two guys. However, the Bills is the Bills defense is way better than Baltimore's defense. I feel like Baltimore's defense is still good, but they're not the
They're
Baltimore
not,
of old, like with Ray
no, they're not
Lewis, Ed
solid.
Reed, and all those dudes. Like they're not the same.
They're not solid. They have holes.
Exactly. They've slowly been withering away, even though they're still great. They're just not as dominant as they used to be. And
Tua took
I
advantage.
could, yeah, Tua did take advantage, especially at the end. They were like, go, go deep, and just throw it out there. And dude, a lot of those passes were underthrown. A lot of them. But
Well, that's his
he had
biggest.
60 yards of separation that he just like, okay, let me stop and catch it and then run. Like
Yeah.
against better coverage, that wouldn't happen. And I think better coverage will be on the Bills' side. I don't think that they're gonna let guys run wild like that.
No.
So I'm going Bills, Dolphins. Bills at Dolphins. Yeah, I'm going Bills. So
All right.
yeah, we're both in
There's
agreement there. And then
another agreement.
the next one is Lions at Minnesota.
This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a tough one, I
Um,
think. As crazy as that sounds for Detroit, right? Like Detroit, it's like we have to really think hard about Detroit now, because that you mess up with Detroit, like I don't know,
why
it's just it feels worse. You know what I mean?
I had the Commanders to beat Detroit last week, and I lost that pick. However, the Commanders gave it a somewhat decent attempt at a comeback, and they just couldn't get it, with a drive where they still had it within 7 or 8. The
Yeah,
Lions, like, they have scrap, and, I think Motor City Dan Campbell's got it probably as going on as it has been in a couple years. So, with that said, the Vikings just got their asses humiliated on prime time, you know, television. And this is a divisional game, and it's in Minnesota.
yeah,
I think right there is the telling. I think Minnesota gets a bounce back. I
yeah.
think I'm going to pick.
It's a get right game.
It's going to be a get right game. It's going to be a good game. I think Detroit definitely annoys the shit out of them, and maybe
Swift
has
should
the
play
lead.
more. So he didn't play that many snaps last week, and they still were able to beat the Commanders. And but with Swift playing more, I think that gives them a chance to win. However, I see the Vikings being, you always have to give the home team like what, 3, right? Give them you have to give them 3, and then you assess everything.
Right.
I kind of feel like you have to give Minnesota more than 3 in this one, even though the lines are scrappy as hell. I just don't know, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, Minnesota's coming off an embarrassment, and they're at home. I mean, if they can't do it here, okay, okay. I mean, it's a divisional game. I'll give them that, but
But it is the Lions
it
still.
is the Lions, yeah, and they almost upset the Eagles,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
they beat the Commanders, and so it's like two good teams. The Eagles are way better than the Commanders, but I mean, two good teams, and they could be 2-0. And so I don't know. Can they do three in a row? I don't think so. I feel like I feel like Minnesota has the advantage here. I'm going Minnesota.
yeah, it's definitely a get right game.
Yeah.
I think Dalvin Cook gets back involved. Jefferson has, more than a handful of catches, and
And
everybody's
the thing
back.
about the Lions defense is like Philadelphia's defense, you know, they allowed the Lions to come back in, but that was week 1, right?
Yeah.
And then they corrected, and look what they did to Minnesota. They just like
Um,
held them in check. And so Minnesota isn't, the Lions defense isn't the same as Philadelphia. So I feel like they're gonna try to make up for what they weren't able to do last week, and that might be incentive to like, this is our opportunity to fucking catch up on the stats, and because these players will say, oh, it's all about the win, but they want the Pro Bowl, they want the All Pro, they want these accolades, and I feel like Jefferson is a guy that definitely wants to be up there as one of the best. I'm going Vikings also. Um,
all right. Moving down the list.
the next one is Baltimore at New England. And now this one's scary because
The,
I didn't think New England had a chance against Pittsburgh,
and they did.
and they did. But it gets to show like Pittsburgh. I think maybe Pittsburgh is just, I don't know. I don't think they're that good anymore.
No,
Not with Trubisky, and then they can't run the ball. They couldn't really run the ball last year.
nobody's afraid of the passing. So
Exactly. It's like nobody's really scared of Trubisky, so um I just don't know if New England has enough firepower to outscore the Ravens. Like with Miami, okay, that's different. Even if you don't believe in Tua, he has weapons. And all he has to do
yeah,
is just throw it up there and let them do something. Like that's easy.
that's typically what they do.
But New England doesn't, I mean, they can run the ball, but their passing game just, I mean, they don't really have many weapons. I just don't know if they have enough to beat Baltimore. Like if Baltimore
I
has a lead against New England, can New England come back the way Miami did? I just don't see it.
I think Lamar comes out and kind of gives us a little bit of a show.
Yeah.
Get some chunk yards on the ground
How long do you
himself.
think his longest run will be in this game?
Oh, this game,
Yeah, like a
man,
50 yarder?
I'd give him an easy 50 yarder.
50
I think
yarder,
he could
yeah.
easily. Yeah, that's you can't not just automatically bet that average because that man can run it in from 70 yards if he needed to.
And don't forget
And
he's
solid.
in the contract year. So
Oh, yeah.
whether he wins or loses, that's one thing. But he
It's a
wants the
big deal.
stats because the stats
Yeah.
is what gets you paid. And
Yep.
so this is an opportunity for him to come up and put up some stats. And even though New England's at home, I just feel like Baltimore's a better team, so I would go Baltimore here. Um I'm going Baltimore. But you know what? I bet you a lot of people are going to pick New England.
I'm
The way they did against Pittsburgh. I kind of feel like it's hard to go against Belichick. It just really is.
well, I'm going Baltimore as well.
Wow, we have so many in agreement this week. We're both we're both gonna do awesome or shit again.
Or shit, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Okay, so the next one is Cincinnati at the Jets, and
Jesus, man.
this one scares me so much.
Mm. Can Joe Burrow look like he just played in a Super Bowl? What's happened?
Dude, I mean,
It's bad.
I don't know. Like, I mean, okay, the Cowboys were at home, but that defense pretty much neutralized them. And if you remember in the last video, I said the only way the Cowboys will win is if the defense plays lights out, and they did.
They
However,
did.
I picked Cincinnati. I didn't expect that. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
think the Bengals
and,
would be that bad. But like,
and
how
nobody
much practice does he need? Like, you would think he'd be back to normal. I guess
nobody
this
thought,
is it. Like, he either has to be back to normal this game or it's over. That's it.
well, and nobody thought the Jets would be above 500 right now. That's just hasn't been a thing.
Right.
Or at 500, excuse me.
Yeah, yeah, at 500. But still, yeah, I mean, Garrett Wilson, I mean, I know he's only a rookie and he's only played in 2 games, but I mean, he looks more explosive than Lamb. And Lamb did okay against Cincinnati. So what can Wilson do against Cincinnati? I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like this could be an upset. I feel like the Jets could beat the Bengals. I'm pretty sure the Bengals are favored. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are favored. But I don't know, man. It's so hard to like. But there's always the Super Bowl hangover. The losing team always struggles, and so it's
That's a
kind of
hard one.
it's like, what do you do? Like, do you pick the team that is worse to get the upset at home, or do you pick the team that's legitimately a better team but is just struggling? You know, is it Burrow's fault he had his appendix taken out at the worst possible time?
Yeah, for real. No, not necessarily. Yeah, I don't like picking the Jets. I still don't.
It makes you uneasy. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sticking Bengals here.
me too. I think me too. I feel like last week was the get right game for the Bengals and they fucked it up. Like this is an even bigger get right game. And if they fuck this
Yeah,
up, like then that's it. Like
yeah. I might hang it up on them there.
yeah,
Like,
like
what?
they're not going to make the playoffs at that point. You're 0-3, dude. Like what's the percentage? Like dude, the percentage of 0-2 teams is like 7% or 8%, something like that. Or maybe 10%, I don't know. It's like hardly any teams make it. If you're 0-3, that number even goes down to like 2%.
Yeah,
So like you'd have to rattle off like 10-0 to get back into it. And maybe they can do it. They have the firepower to do it. But it might not be over. But yeah, Bengals. I'm going Bengals. So did we pick all of the same ones other than Pittsburgh and Cleveland?
so far.
Wow. I don't think that's ever happened before. Well, we're not done. We still have half of them to go. But this next one, Las Vegas Raiders at Tennessee Titans. What do you think?
This should be this should be a better game than like everybody's hard on the Titans right now, and I think that they'll try to get back out there with Tannehill and Henry and try to Vrabel, Mr. Chin is still their coach. I think they're going to give it a good go, but I think the Raiders are salty as shit. Like they had a win, had it, and they
Yeah.
just let it go away
Yeah, they're 0-2. So
with Devontae Adams.
yeah, and Adams, I think he only caught one ball in week 2. It was a touchdown, but he
Yeah,
didn't do a lot.
it was a short touchdown. I think it was like a 7 yard or 6 yard
Yeah, it
touchdown.
was a very short one. And so that's kind of like along the lines of like Justin Jefferson. Like they both popped off week 1, and then week 2 they were just like completely neutralized.
Yeah,
And
man.
but are the Titans capable of neutralizing Adams? I don't know, man. I just don't.
Are the
I don't
Titans
think so.
are the Titans capable of stopping Max Crosby on defense?
Well, that's the thing.
I don't,
Like Derrick Henry doesn't. I mean, he's had a lot of time to heal, but I don't know. Maybe he's just getting too old. Maybe he just has a lot of wear on the tires. Like I don't know. Henry
could
just
be.
doesn't look right. He doesn't catch passes either. So it's just I don't know. It's easy to know what they're gonna do on offense. Like it was hard to stop before. But who is their threat in the passing game? It's kind of like what we said about New England. Like
They don't have any.
they don't have it. Like when you got rid of AJ Brown,
That was it.
that was it. That was all they had. Like you're not scared of anybody. Press. You don't even have to press. Single cover everybody and stack the box. Stop Derrick
Yep.
Henry, and then that's forcing Tannehill to throw the ball. And look what happened last year. He almost had a panic attack, or he did have
Yeah.
a panic attack. So like, but then what's better is Tannehill, who's probably washed at this point. Maybe he still has some left, but it's kind of like he's on the decline now. Like his stock is plummeting at this point. Are you going to put Malik
Yeah.
Willis in? Does he give you a better chance to win?
He's already gotten window
But he didn't do
last
very
game.
well.
Well,
It was against the Bills
that,
though.
that,
That's like that
that was mean. Let's
was
be honest.
yeah.
It's a lack of better vocab than mean. That was exactly what that was.
But these
Yeah,
are
I'm
two
picking
0-2 teams.
I'm picking Raiders here, dude. I gotta think they've been so close to that win and just let it get away at home. They got to be
Who's the coach for
just
the Raiders?
McDaniels.
That's why. Cuz he's not with his daddy. He's not with his
Yeah,
daddy. He needs daddy to take care of him.
he never does well on his own.
No, none of
It's
them do.
it's always so pumped up when McDaniels leaves. Like, oh, they're going to be great. They got McDaniels. And then, like when he was with the Broncos, was that when they had Tebow?
Yeah.
That was a double whammy. Well, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother conversation for another video. But dude, I'm going
I don't know.
Raiders
I don't
here.
know if I could go with the Raiders on this one, man. This it's like
They've screwed us.
This one's hard because Tennessee is due, but so is Oakland. However, I feel like Oakland should be favored because Tennessee just does. At least Oakland is being competitive in their games. They're just losing terribly.
Yeah.
Tennessee is like it's kind of like the Colts. Like, what are they doing? Like, these are the two teams that everybody's like, oh, they're going to be at the top of the division. And right now, it's the Texans and the Jaguars that are at the top of the division. So Jaguars,
Confusing.
Jaguars being first, but it's just weird and bizarre. And I remember I told you this in the off season. I said it's crazy that this division is up for grabs with Tennessee. And if I'm gonna believe what I say, you know what I mean? I guess I'm going Raiders. Cause like, why say these things if I don't believe them, right? Like, if I'm just
Yeah.
gonna pick the Titans and it's like, oh well, it could be up for grabs. Well then, I mean, it looks like it. It looks like the Texans and the Jaguars got better, and the Colts and the Titans got worse. I mean, they did. And
Yeah.
so it's a get right game, and it's kind of like in the situation of the Bengals. Like, if they lose, whoever loses this game is in serious trouble. I mean, they're both in serious trouble right now. But at least if you can salvage this game, it's better to be 1-2 than 0-3. You know what would be the worst case scenario is if they tie. 0-2-1. It's probably gonna happen.
That would be
I'm going
terrible.
Raiders though. I'm going Raiders. I think you've
Uh,
sold me on it. I'm going Raiders. So I'll blame you if we get it wrong.
that's cool. I'm good at taking the blame.
Yeah. But okay, so the next one, Philadelphia Eagles at Washington Commies. I'll let you go because you've got proximity to Washington.
Yeah, and I have watched a decent amount of Commanders football games, commies, as they've been dubbed by the loving Texans that have always had a love affair with the Washington football team, you know,
That's
being
such a
named
good
something.
name. Such a good name, and they just threw it away.
They had a name before that, but I can't remember what it was. So anyway,
Yeah, we're
um,
trying not to, and we've done a good job, I think, of not mentioning that. So, but
yeah,
yeah,
we're good. We're good. We're
we're
good
good.
at it.
We're good at it.
We're, you know, good for us. Pat on the back, dude. The Eagles look solid, and I just can't. I could see the Commanders sticking around. I could see them making it. I could see them. They might have a lead at some point, probably early in the game. Probably catch like a 7-3 lead. Like they stop Jalen Hurts
Like they
on a
win the
good.
coin toss. He throws a pass to Samuel, touchdown. That's the lead. But then the Eagles will probably tie.
Either Samuel or McKissick, dude. Like it. He hands the ball well to Gibson, but dude, that the running back McKissick, he catches all the out of the back shit, and it's just he eats off of that. And it's gonna be one of those two dudes, but I see Philadelphia kind of putting the thumb down and getting a win here.
So
So I'm going Philly.
we haven't really discussed our division winners or any of the award winners. We haven't really gone through that. I kind of feel like we should do that after week 4. We should do it every quarter. After week 4,
Yeah,
then after week 8, then after week 12, and then at the end of season we could do the playoff stuff. But in the preseason, I said it was between the Cowboys and the Eagles for the division, and I did not expect the Commanders to be this good. I mean, they're 1-1. They could be 0-2. They could be 2-0. They could have all three outcomes here. The one thing I do know about the Commanders is even if they're behind, doesn't matter how
they're
much
gonna.
they're behind, they're gonna come back because they have weapons, and Wentz is more than capable when he has weapons to throw to. So it's gonna be great for fantasy purposes if you have any commander. But yeah, I gotta go with the Eagles here, and this is gonna be my lock of the week. I'm picking the Eagles over the Commanders. I'm
All right.
pretty. I just yeah. I think other than the Bills, I think the Eagles are the best team. The Chiefs are in there too. Um, And I guess you kind of have to throw the Dolphins in there also. But yeah, I just feel like the Eagles Hurts Hurts passing
He's
statistics aren't like through the roof. Like he only has one passing touchdown. Everybody's talking how he's an MVP already, but he only has one passing touchdown, and he has an interception.
yeah, he was throwing around the yard this past game, but it
Yeah.
was getting run
Well, he only
mostly.
has like 500 passing yards. The thing is he has like 3 rushing touchdowns, I think, and like
Yeah,
150 yards. So like he's doing it all on the ground. I don't know. To me, I don't think he's the MVP. However, that doesn't mean they're not a damn good team. Their defense is dominant. I mean, if you
all
can
right.
shut down Jefferson like that, you're a good defense. And when you have a good defense, I think it's easy to declare someone an MVP like that. But I would give the MVP to Josh Allen right now. I don't think it's even close. But yeah,
That's a
Eagles
fair.
Eagles are my lock. And your lock was who? The Texans?
Yeah.
Oh man. You should have done that one for your upset. That's what you should have done. But okay.
Oh no. Okay, that's what I meant.
Oh, that's what you
My
meant.
my upset.
Okay. So that's your upset. Okay. So,
So this is your lock. Like it's gonna.
yeah, like
Gotcha.
like I'm guaranteeing the Eagles are winning. And that's why when you said your lock was the Texans, I was like, "Damn. Like you really hate the Bears." like like
Not
you
not that much.
like you're like, "Damn them. Like Texans are winning no matter what." But but yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to change, that's fine with me. But okay, so the next one, the Jaguars versus the Chargers. 1-1 at 1-1. I mean, pretty sure the Chargers are favorites at home, but damn, like Trevor Lawrence looked like a damn quarterback. Like finally, he looks like a quarterback. Because last year he looked terrible. Even after Urban Meyer left, he looked terrible. I just kind of feel like it was a wash year. You kind of just gotta like throw it out the window.
Let it go.
Yeah,
Yeah, let it go.
let it
It's
go.
done.
The stats are there, but I mean, and they count. But I guess you,
Nah,
I guess you kind of just have to say like, you know what? He gets a pass. He's the
it
number
was a
one
shit show.
pick, but he gets a pass. That's the way it works. And
We could we
so,
could even we could even say his situation was horseshit.
well, yeah. When it comes to Urban Meyer, that's true. But I mean, the thing about the Chargers is, what's his name? Herbert. Herb your enthusiasm broke some rib cartilage, and that actually happened to me right here, and that was like the most painful thing. I'm a side sleeper, and so when you have broken rib cartilage and you're trying to sleep on your side, dude, no, you cannot do anything you do hurts. Even sleeping like this hurts. Like
I believe it.
it's terrible, and so it just really depends how bad the break was, where the break was. Unfortunately for me, it was on my left side by my heart, so it made it even worse. If his is lower,
Yeah.
that's a good. That's I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's better than it being up there. And
Yeah.
so the other question is like, did it? I mean, it probably didn't puncture anything, but when it broke, did it hit anything inside? Did it like bruise anything? Like that has a lot to do with it. I'm very curious. He was limited today. He did drills yesterday, and then today he was like limited. So he's off to a good start to play. It's just he's probably gonna wear a flak jacket. They're probably gonna give him some kind of shot for pain, and it's all pain tolerance. It's all it's gonna be. But you know what? This is probably gonna be a heavy dose of the running game for the Chargers. But you know what? The Jaguars run the ball a lot too, and so I kind of feel like the Jaguars might throw you know throw a wrench in there, and they're gonna try to make Trevor Lawrence look like Joe Montana again, just like he did against the Colts. I don't know, man. I think this is gonna be my upset. I think I'm going with Jaguars as my upset over the Chargers. I'm very
Uh,
scared for Herbert because I've personally felt what that feels like, and it's no joke. I mean, I was like in pain for months, like 2 months. It was
I'm,
terrible.
I'm thinking this is a get right game for Mr. Eckler.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I believe that.
being a home game, I think they will
Lots of dump offs,
rely on
lots of
him.
handoffs. I agree.
And I'm making this my lock to
Oh,
win that the Chargers will remind the Jaguars that they're the Jaguars. That's right, I said it, Josh.
okay. So we both picked the same game for the lock and the upset. We're just on different sides. Okay. Interesting. I'm down with that. Um awesome. Okay, so the Rams at the Cardinals. And now I mean I mean I don't know. The Rams kind of are weird. The Cardinals are kind of weird. Like neither one looks great, neither one looks bad.
Neither one looked the way either thought they would
Right.
at this point. And
But they don't have
the
Hopkins, so I mean, I would kind of feel like you expected a little bit of this for the Cardinals, but
little bit, but not this bad.
not this bad. Yeah, like they did add Hollywood, so
He helps.
he does help, and it's going to be even better when Hopkins comes back. But unfortunately, they don't have him, and they also lost Connor. He might not play, so I kind of got to go with the Rams on the road on this one. I kind of feel like I mean, even though it was Atlanta and they almost came back, they really did. I don't understand. When a team gets a lead, they play this prevent defense. The same thing with the Ravens. They play this like
Just
prevent defense where they just like, oh, let's let anything underneath.
happened.
But then yeah, and like, oh, well, they'll just throw a bunch of passes and the time will run out. The thing is with like the Dolphins, they have speedy weapons that can circumvent that. With the Cardinals, it's really just Hollywood.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're capable of that.
I
So
I I think the Rams are pissed on defense, and I think they're going to go get it. I'm also picking the Rams on this one.
yeah, yeah, I think this is Rams. So all right, the next one is Atlanta Falcons at Seattle Seahawks. What do you think about this?
Man, dude, like talk about the backups bowl. You know, you got Marcus Mariota on the Falcons,
The battle of the backups.
the Dirty Birds of the South, flying up to the Dirty Birds of the Northeast with who playing quarterback? Oh wait, Geno Smith. That's right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sorry, Geno. He Geno has somewhat passed expectation, but I think this past game kind of brought Seattle fans a little bit back down to earth. Um,
Yeah, well, it was also
dude,
a rainy game in San Francisco, and then
it
Lance
was.
broke his foot, and then Garoppolo came back. And once Garoppolo came back in, it's like okay, they have no chance. Like with Lance
Yeah,
in, they had a chance, but with Garoppolo, it's like okay, they're going to be a good team again. So yeah, I think the Seahawks had a chance, but I mean, this is an even matchup because I mean, Seattle's at home, but Atlanta has done pretty good. They just haven't
you know,
won. They're kind of
I
like with the
want.
Texans. They're they're okay. They're competing. They just haven't figured it out how to win yet. But it's
I
is
have.
whose fault is that? Is that Mariota's fault?
I don't think so.
Then whose fault is it? The
I
defense?
I just don't. I don't know if like they just seem like an incomplete team altogether. Like they might have Cordero going on offense and Pitts and other guys, and Mariota's doing Mariota. Like he's not lighting the world on fire, but he's getting it done. But
Yeah.
then like they allow points and they lose, and then it switches vice to like the defense will be more stout, and then you know
Yeah.
they just don't do shit.
When do you think you see Ritter for Atlanta?
Man, they like him this week, but he's not going to be there. I think it might be another couple. They need him. They need another guy to get out there and fucking give some kind of threat, dude. Because I mean, what else do they have right now besides Pitts and Patterson?
Are you confusing Ridley with Ritter? Ritter's a quarterback.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, yeah. So like we were talking about
No,
Mariota, but
no,
like,
I think they ride Mariota. I think they let that dude sit. If they're smart,
so
I
like, but
think they
that was
ride.
my question. Like, when do you think you see Ritter? Like, like how long do they ride him? Like week 8, week 10?
Well, I mean, why rush it? I mean, it's not like he's
To
learning a
see
whole
what
lot, but
you have in Ritter.
is this? I don't know.
Like if Seattle gets a lead on Atlanta and Mariota can't do anything, should you give Ritter the chance, or is it still too early for that?
I still think it's too early.
It's too early. Okay, so like,
I,
so maybe week 8 or 10, maybe, or that's
maybe
still too early.
no, that would be a fair like
So
that's
so if they're 0
late
and
enough,
10,
or like 1-9.
yeah, if they're fucking garbage, like at
Yeah,
what
then
point do you give them a chance?
if you're complete garbage, I guess then it is fair because it's
Put
like,
them
what else do
in.
we have to look forward to?
Yeah, put them in. And
With that said,
what about with Pickett with the Steelers? Like, at what point do you give him the chance?
uh, I mean, if you ask the Pittsburgh crowd, it's now. But
It's now, yeah. But you, what about
I don't,
you?
I don't know, man. I think that's another. They're invested in Trubisky. It would be another if the absolute garbage stink, which is not a Tomlin trait. Like
True.
I think they'll still be
Them
winning
stinking
games. Here.
is 500. That's them
Yeah,
stinking. Yeah,
it is. That is them stinking.
yeah. So,
Yeah, if they're not playoff bound, that's more than subpar
yeah,
for Steelers standard.
exactly. So who's your pick? Atlanta?
I'm picking Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I think Atlanta can score. They might not be able to win, but I think they could score, and this is a winnable game for them.
Yeah,
However, Seattle was at home when they demolished, well, not demolished, although it kind of feels like it when they demolished Denver. And shit, Denver was at home when Houston almost demolished them. So I don't know. There's something weird with Denver.
I think it's just you don't want to make solid bets right now in Denver.
Yep.
They're even calling for Nathaniel Hackett's job already.
Well, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's learning. You know who he is? He's the new David Culley.
Yeah,
He doesn't know what he's
if,
doing. Like he's just fumbling everything. Like it's that's funny. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Atlanta. I think they have a better chance to score than Seattle does. Um, but yeah, another agreement. Okay, so this is your matchup. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. I'll let you go.
well, you know who I'm picking. I guess I'll just say why. Um, Raymond James Field is a hard place for the Packers. Always has been. They have picked up wins there before. They didn't have Tom Brady then, so we kind of want to go ahead and pick up one against Tom in Tampa Bay. To do that, I think we'll utilize Jones maybe a little bit more in the passing game, or like a quick option type deal that's not really an option because we know we're not trying to run Rodgers into that chaos. Um, look for that. Look for Romeo Dobbs to make another maybe half step forward. I mean, he caught some good balls and I think he had a really good screen pass last game that could have been for way more if he'd have picked a different direction. And I think our defense continues to improve. It sucks for them not having Evans, and I think that's unfair. I'd rather him be in there so that way the talking heads aren't like, well, that's why the Packers won the game because they didn't have their top receiver. But
Yeah. Don't
it is.
lose without him, because then that gives them the talking point. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely, and that's all we'll hear. Oh, pack it in, pack it in. Is what they love. That's what they love to say.
But
But
this one's
that's
close. This one's very close. Like, it's
because of
hard.
Evans not being there. It's a lot. It's a lot closer.
It's a lot closer, yeah. They'd probably get a couple more points with Evans. But without him, this is as almost as even as it can get. Even though Tampa's on the road or at home. And
Yeah,
Julio might be out again. Godwin's out. Evans is at, like, who are they gonna throw to? Like, does Gronk come out of retirement for one game? Like, hey, I'll show up.
yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like that should happen. And um, cause yeah, who's gonna do anything with Tampa Bay? So the only thing I could think Tampa Bay does is they run the ball. They're gonna run the ball and just try to
We
run you guys over, because who are they gonna throw to?
if we can be stout against the run,
Then you guys win.
then we win.
Then you win.
It's as simple as
That's
that.
what it's gonna
Because
come down. But
but,
at the same time, if they're usually stout against the run too. So if you
yeah,
guys struggle against the run, dude, this could be another game just like New Orleans and Tampa Bay. It's gonna be ugly. Nobody's gonna be able to do anything until the very end when somebody fucks it up when they press,
no,
and then it's just like who's gonna mess up at the end. I don't know. This would like
it's an any given Sunday moment.
yeah, it's like you could see why people want to pick Brady. You could see why people want to pick Rodgers. In this situation, I kind of feel like maybe you just default to the home team, because I feel like that's the only advantage here. Everything, to me, almost everything is down the middle, and the only advantage is that they're at home.
When I have a feeling a ton of people will pick the Buccaneers just because of Tom Brady.
Just cause. But this is one where I'm probably gonna tinker. I'm probably gonna pick Buccaneers, and I might switch to Green Bay. But I don't know. This one just I have no idea. Like this one is just completely beyond me. I don't even fucking know. Um,
Well, that I'm easy with that because this is a good tinkering game for anybody who's
yeah.
not invested as myself.
This is the tinker of the week for sure.
Now, on to probably what could be the most predictable and boring Sunday night game of the year that nobody saw would be that way, but apparently it is. The San Francisco 49ers come up to Mile High to say hello to Let's Ride Russ Wilson and the Broncos of Denver. Who do you have, Carlos? Because you just saw this team.
Yeah, I mean Denver, like, I mean, okay, look, they didn't have Judy in the game against Houston because he got knocked out in the first quarter.
Yeah,
So that changes your offense. Sutton and Judy, that's a pretty good combo. There's maybe only a handful of combos better than them. So,
that's for sure.
taking him out changes their plans on offense. However, Cortland Sutton was able to, like, pretty much do whatever he wanted. Um, but I don't know. There's just something wrong with Denver. Maybe it's the coach. He's going through his, like, the pains of being a first-time head coach. He's the like I said earlier. He's the new David Culley. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He's learning as he goes along. The good thing is he has Russell Wilson to lean on,
Yeah,
and a decent running game and a decent defense. They just narrowly lost that game in Seattle, so everybody's kind of down on Denver. But I mean, when you let Houston pretty much trade punches with you for the majority of that game, it kind of makes you question. It really does. But you know what? The 49ers are better with Garoppolo than with Lance. And so even though they're on the road, I kind of feel like all the players on the 49ers, like, Like they fucking, had a sigh of relief, like, oh, no more Lance, like, thank God. Now we can just go back to the championship game. Like, I kind of feel like that's what everybody's thinking now. It's like we get the quarterback back. Now we can do what we do, which is
Right.
win a lot of games and go to the playoffs. But with Lance, there was no guarantee of that. There really wasn't. We don't know what
No,
he's gonna do.
I
And
mean he had ceiling. He had ceiling for sure, and had promise and spark.
well, he played in
But
an ugly weather game week 1, and then he got another ugly weather, and then he broke his ankle before he could even do anything. So it's
yeah,
like it's unfair he didn't play in his rookie year except for like 2 starts, and then this year he only got 2 starts again. Now he's going into year 3 and we don't even know what he is. So
yeah.
what did they do with Garoppolo? Do they bring him back? Does he go to free agency? Like,
All
I don't know.
all
This is a
depends on.
weird situation for San Francisco.
Well, this is my tinker of the week for sure.
Yeah, this is
Right
another
now,
good one
I got Denver, staking claim,
because they're at home.
and yes, that's the only reason.
But doesn't Denver beat the 49ers like historically?
They're a thorn in their side, and there are always great matchups between Elway
Well, I'm
and
talking about like in the Shanahan era. I don't care what happened 20 years ago.
fair enough. Yeah, yeah. The Broncos have always kind of jumped up and surprised the fuck out of 49ers. It's just the way for it's kind of like the 49ers are the Cowboys of the West. Like their fans just expect that when they're good, they just expect them to win,
Yeah.
and every other team around is shit except for like the Dallases or the New Englands or other teams at the time or whatever team at the time is the
Yeah.
actual spirit of the team.
Well, you know what?
But
I'm a little higher on the 49ers now that Garoppolo's the starter again. Um, I mean, when you look at Garoppolo's record, I mean, he's like 30 some and 14. Like his record's ridiculous. But they're on the road. However, I still think I think I'm gonna give it to San Francisco here. I don't know this one. I might tinker on this one too. I might go back and forth all weekend. But
yeah,
I
this is a good one to tinker on.
initially I'm starting with 49ers.
It's the last game of Sunday, so it's a great one to tinker on because you got tons of time to go back and forth, and all
Exactly.
depends
All
on
day Sunday. You're
how.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and depending on how you did. If you did shit, you really need a fucking upset. This is a good one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hate that. I hate that.
And to segue in, same with Monday night.
Oh,
I mean, I said it. I said it, dude. The Giants had to win 2 games in a row for me to even consider them to pick, and look what they did. Look.
so you're going Giants?
I don't know, dude. It's so, like I might be on the Cooper Rush fever. What if he does great, and then Dak comes back and they go to poop again, and they're like, "No, Cooper Rush."
It's crazy
I don't
how like
know
Cooper Rush actually throws it to Lamb and
a lot.
he gets it to him, unlike Dak, like where he just refuses to throw it to him,
Yeah, I don't.
or he throws it to him but he doesn't give him a catchable ball.
I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, dude, the Giants are at home. They're favored. This is weird.
But Dallas just upset the Bengals,
I know. Well,
and you're hyping up Cooper Rush, but you're picking the Giants. You're kind of giving me mixed signals here.
I'm totally because I'm giving myself mixed signals. This is another. This is a perfect tinkerer.
You're
You got
confused.
all.
This one is confusing. I mean,
You got all weekend, and then you got
oh,
Monday. You go.
all of
What do I
Monday, yeah,
need?
you're at work and you're just like fucking Cowboys, like bastards, like oh, okay, fine. And then you get home and you're like, nah, fuck the Cowboys, I'm going Giants, and then you lose.
Yeah, that could be how it goes. I could see that being a viable outcome to how it goes for me on Monday. But
So I picked the Cowboys week 1, they lost. I picked against them week 2, they won. I think I'm just destined to not get the Cowboys right this year. And that's what worries me. I'm not even looking at the two teams. I'm looking at how I'm picking the Cowboys. And so it's like when I pick them, they lose. When I don't pick them, they win. So it's like doesn't matter. I'm gonna get it wrong. And it's only 2 weeks, so I can say that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I'm going. I think I'm going Cowboys, like you said. Like all the reasons why what you said. Cooper Rush. I think. I think he's a very underrated backup. I think he's also been there for quite a while. Um,
yeah,
and so it's a very pass friendly system, or a quarterback friendly system. I think Dak is just one of those quarterbacks that like he'll just go through his progressions, and whoever's open, he'll throw it to him. He doesn't force it to
yeah,
anyone. Cooper Rush, I think whoever his number one guy is, he's gonna force it or not force it in, but he's gonna throw it to them.
yeah.
And Lamb got 11 targets, and I think he caught like 7 balls. And the week before, Lamb had also 11 targets, but he only had 2 catches. So that's the difference. Is like for
It's a
some
big
reason,
difference. Too.
yeah, for some reason, Dak just doesn't trust Lamb because he throws him terrible balls. Yeah, Lamb dropped a couple, but if you're only completing 2 out of 11, dude, that's not good. And so I just kind of feel like when you can get the ball to your weapons, and Lamb and Pollard right now. I don't know if Gallup's playing, but Lamb and Pollard are their best. That's another thing. Elliott, like how many carries are they gonna waste giving it to Elliott? Like you just need to put Pollard in as the starter,
And just start.
and this team
Be
will be
done.
completely different. They will actually
Yes.
win. But because they're
Yeah.
paying Elliott 15, 16 million, they no, well he's the starter. And he's supposedly healthy now. Like that was the excuse last year. Oh, he played on a torn knee. That's why he was so bad. And it's like, well, what's his excuse this year? Oh,
And
it's the
still.
offensive line. It's like there's always an excuse. But I don't know.
um,
Just to answer, I think I'm gonna go Cowboys.
well, right now I'm going Giants,
And we'll,
but I will.
yeah, we'll probably end up flip flopping.
We'll both flip
We'll
flop.
both
Be like,
flip
what are
flop.
you doing? What are you doing?
Well, some of these
All
are
right.
really hard. I mean, I don't know. I always try to shoot for 10, but I don't know. The way these last 2 weeks have gone, I don't even. I'll be lucky if I can get to 7. So
I'd like. I was gonna say 8 or 9 sounds fucking sexy at this point. The way it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
going.
But dude, it's
All right,
rough,
bro.
and give with all these weeks, like by the time we get to like week 6, we should know who all these teams are, and it'll be
Yeah,
easier. And that's when we'll start doing better. Cause like right now, this is just a shit show, is what it is.
that's
But
for sure.
good
All
luck
right,
to you, and may your Tinkers, do you
take it.
good.
Take it on.
Yeah. And well, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. And we'll see you for the
Leave
live
a
stream
comment.
tomorrow.
Hell yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions.
Yes,
See you
sir.
next time.
Well, have a good one, Rob, and see you tomorrow.
You too, bro. Later.